Michael Langley, CEO of Greater MSP, the Minneapolis-St. Paul Regional Economic Development Partnership. The Minneapolis-St. Paul Regional Economic Development Partnership is a 16-county regional economic development group that is really collaborative leadership, private sector leadership, public sector leadership, and institutional leaders working together to advance the economy and the prosperity of the Minneapolis-St. Paul region in Minnesota on a global scale. Well, I'm inspired in this job by actually the smiles on the faces of a new employee to a company that's either expanded or located in our region, and especially those folks who maybe were unemployed or underemployed before that opportunity came to our place. So that's really that drives, I think, what our whole team, our board, our partners, and our staff, what we do. It's really about for business and people to prosper in our community. And I'd say the other thing that really inspires me is construction cranes. Well, I think the sense is it's one of opportunity and confidence in the future. You know, one of the challenges that we face in our country today is this idea of shared prosperity. You know, we have a lot of folks that are doing really, really well, and we want to continue to see our economy and the wealth of our nation and the wealth of our companies continue. But we also have a responsibility, I think, and a need to ensure that everyone in our places, in our cities, in our states, in our nation, are included in that economy, because we'll be a much better place, a much stronger country, if we include everyone in that process. And so when I see folks that have not had that opportunity in the past enter the workforce and really start seeing the fruits of their labors, and they see their places getting better, that's really rewarding. All economic developers, no matter how they got into the profession, had someone at the beginning of that inspired them or kind of guided them in one way or the other. In my case, I came into economic development from the private sector. I had been an executive leader in a corporation, and upon selling a company, I found myself, thinking about what is my next career move, and I was convinced by the chair of the local economic development organization that my background and skills would be very matched to professional economic development. And so Tom Miller, who was the president and owner of Miller Construction in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, didn't have to twist my arm too hard, but he really was the one that convinced me that he saw something in me that would be really important for our community and for the profession to be successful. And so that's what got me into it. And I look back now and thank Tom for seeing something in me that I probably didn't even see in myself at the time. What I would say is always think about how you, as an economic developer, whether you're in a leadership role or part of the team, can be of service to your clients, to your partners, to your community, to others in the profession, and basically be a servant leader, a servant provider of services to others, because ultimately that's what we in economic development do. When a program or a project is announced or a ribbon is cut, or you see the smiles of that new employee, it's not the economic development organization or leaders or individuals that receive public credit or should receive public credit. It's the companies that are making those investments and hiring those people, and it's the people themselves that should be congratulated. We get to play this role in the background and be of service to others, and that attracts a lot of people to our profession. It's not a profession where you're going to make the most money. It's not a profession where you're cutting the ribbons or things like that. We want our elected officials to do that. But it's a profession that's very, very satisfying and rewarding because you're actually seeing your community get better. And so I'm so pleased when somebody comes to work in our organization And I always ask them the question, why economic development for you? And I know right off the bat when they tell me they want their community and the place they live to be better, that they're going to be perfect for the job. Certainly the education and the professional development opportunities that IEDC provides its members is at the core of all of our careers, and so it provides those best practices, those skill sets that we need to actually understand and to do our jobs better. It also, however, provides us the peer relationships to learn from one another and to support one another. Because as your local communities change, as you get new elected officials, new business leaders, it's nice to have some peers in your profession who you can lean on and get advice from, and then in turn give them advice when they're going through challenges and transitions in their community. And IEDC really offers that kind of a cohort of professionals who help each other and get better each day they're a part of it. Well, I think today we have, and I think largely because of IEDC, we have better practices. We've shared those practices through research, through analysis, through doing the homework, if you will, to learn how we do this better together. And so we have better tools today, better information, and I think we have a better awareness and understanding of the importance of economic development as part of our country's foundational elements of success. And so, we have better tools. I've had an opportunity in my life, in my careers, first starting out as a naval officer and a Navy pilot, working in kind of a government environment and seeing how government worked, and actually spending some time in Washington, lobbying on Capitol Hill, to an opportunity to work in the corporate setting in business and see how businesses at a large corporate or mid-market level work and how it operates, and then the opportunity to take some of the real estate development skills that I created in the corporate environment and apply those now on the other side of the table as an economic development practitioner. I've been able to compare and contrast the importance of all of those elements in our economy, in our prosperity as a country. And I've come to the conclusion that it takes the private sector leadership, civic leaders from the private sector, working hand in glove with our government officials, then working also with that third group of nonprofit leaders and institutional leaders like university presidents and foundation leadership, that it's only through that collaboration of those three elements that economic developers can actually see the successes that they want to see in their communities and advance their communities together. And so it's by that ability to teamwork in a community that I think we achieve success, and that's what's inspiring about this work. I think that the profession as a whole has been a critical element in the prosperity of this nation, and I think more and more so in the last 30, 40 years, where we've elevated the awareness of the most important thing in our world and our economy, and that is the importance of a job, right? When you look back in history and you look at the great economies of the world, and certainly the United States would be among those, it's the importance of the independence of a person who has a job and can make a better life for themselves and their family. And that's what's so inspiring about this profession, is that our job is to ensure that the folks in our communities have jobs. And it's the most important thing in our world. Again, whenever somebody gets to cut a ribbon and you see the smiles on the faces of those new employees, that's probably what gives me the most satisfaction in knowing that what our team is doing is making a difference. But I would say from a personal perspective, I've kind of looked at this idea of collaborative leadership, of bringing private sector leaders, public sector leaders, and institutional leaders together around one table and doing it on a regional level. I think that that's what I'm most proud of is understanding the fundamentals of what can make a region work and how leaders can come together and what they need to work on together, what the levers are in a community that they can work on together. And so that inspires me continually because it can only get better if you keep working at it. I think for economic developers to celebrate what they're doing amongst themselves and with their communities, it really is important that we continue to do that for a long, long time into the future, that we don't just celebrate the year of the economic developer or of an economic development week or an economic development year, but that we continually remind ourselves and build awareness in our communities of the importance of our work. And I think we can do that in many, many ways, but I think putting the job and people's jobs really at the apex of what we do is going to have more long-standing benefit to our economies and our cities and our counties and our states than anything we can do.